And I'm back. Hello. Let's go back here. So before the break, we worked on getting this wonderful thing going on here. And I'm going to continue now. I think I'll probably just have time to style the textures for the walls. So, all the sides of the blocks. Since I don't need a reference, well, I mean, I'll keep all the references to it. It's fine. I'll keep all of this stuff. What I do need to do is define the 6 sides for this. So let's start with top, and this is basically just a copy of this. And let's have the same function that I had before. So face, let's say type of face x, y, z, r, x, r, y, r, z. Okay, so the translation and the rotation for the faces that I'm going to add here. And what do we do with this? Okay, top is this face top. I'll figure out what these values are in a little bit, but we need to have 6 of these. So 5, 6, and the bottom one is going to be bottom, obviously. If I could spell bottom. Side 1, so creative. Side 2, side 3, and side 4. Now you can do, if you're following along at all, you can do this as north, south, east, and west if you feel like it. I don't really, because I don't even know if these are going to be next to each other. I just know that the top face doesn't need to be rotated or translated at all. The bottom face needs to be rotated, not translated at all, but rotated along the z-axis. So x, y, z needs to be 180 degrees. So we're flipping the bottom around, okay? They both start at the same sort of there, and then we just go for the bottom one, flip it around. We do need to translate it though, I've realized. I'm not sure that I want to look up all this logic because I've done this, I've struggled through this before. Let's just work through it here. So x, y, and z, translate this. Okay, so let me talk through this. The block's shape is on this z-axis layer. It's exactly that, okay? If I mouse over block, it's pretty much exactly that. We don't need to rotate the top one, but we do need to move it up a bit because it's going to be, like if we insert it, it's going to be exactly the same place as that z-axis plate. We just need to move it up, but it starts in the center of that 3-dimensional shape, so we're just going to move it up by half, which explains that size thing. Let size is 64. You could have that as a constructor parameter. I couldn't care less. So bold. I'm not sure we actually need these things as separate, to be honest. I'm not sure we need them as separate. I think what we can do is put this in here. So size, x, y, and z. Let block is that, .css. Y-axis is this. Will that work? I hope so. And x-axis is this. I wonder what the result of append to is, if it's the original element or if it is what got appended to. We can check it out though. Let's comment this out. We can check it out pretty easily. Does it still work? Looks like it still works. Fine. So let's go back to adding these. Okay, top translates x, y, z. It comes up. Now, let me go and explain this again. This is the y-axis going along here. This is the x-axis going along here. And when you do HTML and normal CSS styling, you actually have access to 3 dimensions. You just don't realize that you do. I'm going and explaining the things I said I wouldn't explain, but hear me out. We already have a way to do position absolute and left and top. That's 2 dimensions. And we also have a way to think about overlapping elements and how to counter that by doing something like z-index. We can use z-index to say this div that would otherwise clash there, move it up a bit. Z-index is an assumption that every element is 1 pixel thick and that the unit of measurement in z-index is a pixel, because the higher the z-index, the higher it is in the layers of the document. But if you imagine every layer as 1 pixel big and z-index having the implicit unit of 1 pixel, you're using z-index to have 3 dimensions, right? So y-axis down here, x-axis over here, and z-index is actually the axis coming up from the page. So translate x, nothing, translate y, nothing, translate z-index, size over 2. Move it half the size up. We can see this in action. What we actually need to do is create the site. So return, let's just copy that. And this is a side. And let's make this a template string because I also want to put the type in the class name. So let's make that, type. In fact, I'll say side type, so we don't clash with top and bottom for other class names. Okay, so side, CSS, and what will we do here? Transform, and we'll make this a template string, translate x. We'll do x, and we'll do y, and we'll do z. And this will just be our normal our normal parameters that we're getting in there. So x, oh, I should have copied and pasted that to begin with. Y and z. Translation. We also need to do rotation of this. So I'm actually going to format this a little bit because we can do with these template strings, we can do new lines, and hopefully it doesn't mess up the CSS too much. Translate and rotation as well. Rotate. Cool. Okay, so we have translation and we have rotation. We also want to have background. Whoa, what am I doing there? Background. And for this, what are we going to do here? Let's just get straight up texture. Whatever texture returns, that's what we want. So texture, I'm changing this to type here. There we go. And we can remove this transform function because we don't need it anymore. Right, so we do our transformation and we get a background color here, a background here. Let's also do some default styling for this. So dot side, position absolute, left 0, top 0, width 64, and height 64. We want the axes to stick out a little bit. The bounding boxes that we're using to stick out a little bit. So it broke. I broke something. Texture is not defined. It's because we need to do this dot texture. This transform is not defined. Where is that from? Block 44. Yeah, it's because I nuked that. Pow! Okay. Now we have some strange overlapping going on here. It's not actually translating the stuff. Oh, that's right, because I don't have px there. I need px's. Oh, there we go. There we go. And I need degrees here because I'm never going to work in radians. That's terrible. Okay, that should have moved it. Now, if you'll remember, Although that green's not overlapping there nicely. If you'll remember, I actually said that top, I don't know if I put the stars there, I put them over here, top must be green and everything else must be brown. Woohoo! That looks great. So green is at the top, that's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, what about bottom? What about the bottom edge? Well, bottom rotates by 180 degrees. It needs to translate down by half. Okay, there we go. It's kind of difficult to see. It doesn't look like it's going all the way down either. It's kind of difficult to see whether this is the front or the back face because they look exactly the same. But that's why, or one of the reasons why, we can use the style back face. What is that style? What is that style called again? Render back face, something like that. We'll find it. Backface visibility hidden. So let's put that on side, and that'll tell us if we are seeing the back on the outside or not. Well, butts. This doesn't look right. Am I rotating this correctly? Forget that. Let's rotate a different side by 180 degrees. Okay. Now, it's there, but this is the back of that side, which we'll see if we put backface visibility off. Let's leave this off for now so that we can still see it and it doesn't look too weird. And let's do something else with the rest of these sides. Okay. So the first side, let's pick something to rotate and translate this by. Let's pick this bottom side first, which means it is we need to rotate along the x-axis and translate it on the y-axis. Wow, that's interesting. So rotate on the x-axis by 90 degrees and translate it on the y-axis by size over 2. So push it down. Pow. Okay, let's make this as side 2. So we rotate it along the y-axis and translate it along the x-axis. Side 2, rotate on the y-axis by 90 degrees, translate on the x-axis by half. Pow. Okay, let's make this side side 3, which means rotate on x and decrease by half. Rotate on x, decrease by half on y. Right. I think I need to rotate this by minus, to be honest, because what I'm seeing, I think this will be the back face on the side. And similarly, I need to rotate this on y by negative and translate it on x by negative. And I think that will be the fourth side. Okay, let me hide the axes quickly because they are ugly as all get out. So display none. Pow. Okay. Now, it would be kind of useful if we had a way to manipulate the screen so that we could rotate all the way around. So I want to add that in, even though that's not really what I was planning to add in. Oh my gosh, my spelling. Atom. I want to open up an Atom editor to this folder because I have a script in here. Well, I have the code in here to do the rotation, and I'm just going to copy it straight there. Let's get rid of that. Let's collapse that. Scripts main. Okay, now somewhere down here I have controls for dragging. Mouse down on body. body add class dragging, mouse move, mouse out, mouse up. Okay, let's use all that stuff. Just put it in here because why not? Okay, so CX and CY is the current X and Y. It gets set when we mouse down so that we have context for how far we are moving. I can get rid of these classes because all they do in my other application is change a label. Also, the way that I'm doing this is to change these values. So the name of the mod, which will allow you to use JavaScript in Minecraft, there is no name of mod that'll allow you to use JavaScript in Minecraft. This is what I'm doing. Nuxer PL is creating Minecraft in JavaScript, and I will use PHP to communicate with a Minecraft server. That's the plan. All right, where have I got these change events on these inputs? Wow, nowhere. Oh, there's some changes there. Okay. So I have some change events for inputs. So I need to define body and I need to define surface. So let's do that quickly. Document body and surface. Actually called this scene. So I'll just change references to it. Here we go. Okay. Body and scene. I need to have some hidden inputs with rotate X, Y, and Z in here as well. Because I don't want to actually have these visible in this version of it. So what did I call these as? These were by classes. So class rotate. Oof. X, Y, and Z. And I'll give these the default values. So this was 60, 60. And what else am I missing? I've got change events on these. So the scene will transform SX, SY, SZ, which means I need to define those. Var SX is 60, var SY is 0, var SZ is 60. Okay. Will this work? Who knows? Time will tell. JavaScript errors? Probably. By the hundreds. X2 int is not a function. Let's just get rid of all of these. Okay, so I also had in my other script, I had some prototype extensions. So let me actually just go and copy those straight away. I actually just need one, which is prototype to int. Oh. Because I didn't want to have floating point coordinates on here. Scale is not defined. What did I set this as? Oh. Okay, let me set a scale value as well. Var scale is 1. I had inputs that would let me do... Okay, there we go. So we have some some minor perspective change, but this is good because we can go all the way around and we can see through. I mean, it's barely visible, but you can see through it over there. Let's just turn backface visibility off so we can see that we have the correct rotations for all the sizes, and then I think I will call it there. Okay, so I'm missing the rotation of these is a little off. Rotation of these is a little off. Okay, I said this was side 1 and it's actually 270, not 90. Oh, the dragging. The dragging. Okay, I need to put something else in this. Something else in here. Top left width is 100%, height is 100%. And let's put this in here. Put some quotes around it because I'm not an evil markup person. Hopefully this will give me ability to do that. There we go. Okay, so the bottom is on there. I just have a problem with this side, which is side 3, I think. I need to have a 270 rotation on this. So this is actually 270. 270 will be fine. Minus 270? Minus 270? Sure. But that looks like it's it. That looks like it is it. That's cool. So in the space of, I guess, about 60 minutes, we have gone from a flat 2-dimensional thing to having a block in 3-dimensional space that we can drag around. Which is good. I think it's about 67 lines of code, maybe a little bit less because there's white space in between. So around 70 lines of code. I guess there's some event-based code in here for a more enhanced UI. Tiny bit of stuff to declare it here. Quite a bit of CSS, but it doesn't really get much more than this. And I add another dependency to this, which allows me to do scrolling with the mouse wheel so that I can zoom or scale. This variable actually changes when I scroll in the other example I have, so I can zoom out with CSS and I don't need to change the size of the whole thing. But this is basically it. On top of this just comes refinements, different block types, different textures. The ghosting is interesting, but for that you will have to come back another time. So I think that's it. I think I'm going to go now. Thank you for being here and asking questions and making comments in chat. That's been really cool. And I hope you found this as interesting as I did, because I enjoyed going over the basics again and getting a little bit more familiar with it. And I think I'm in a better place to write about it now, which is the goal for that. So I'm going to do that, and I will see you some other time. Feel free to hit the follow button so that you get email notifications of when I am streaming again, because I'm going to be streaming more of this stuff this week, as well as some PHP stuff towards the end of the week. So yeah, so do that if you want to get updates for this or know when I'm streaming. By all means, hit that follow button, and have a great evening. Bye. 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 Bye.